anime kind of portrays people in an exaggerated way. Maybe it's not an accurate portrayal.
Welcome to Yodoozy Cyberbunny. It's great to have you with us today, Yodoozy Chit.
Thanks for having me, Shubit and Yodoozy.
Welcome. We have been waiting for this opportunity for such a long time. We reached out to you over Instagram. We have been waiting for the date, and here you are.
Here we are.
Yes, welcome. You have 118,000 followers on Instagram, close to 100,000 followers on YouTube, and you are equally popular on TikTok as well. Recently, you have also been ranked in Forbes 30 under 30 for 2022, and you have also won a beautiful award for social media in Hawaii. How does it feel to be you?
Everything is so surreal. I feel, exactly the same as I did 4 years ago when I started the concept of Cyberbunny, but just better hair, better outfit, and better content. Content keeps getting better the more and more you do it. So super grateful for all of these awards and the followings. Thank you so much, Bunny Gang.
Amazing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and journey as well? How did it all start for you? Let your readers know a little bit more about you.
So Cyberbunny, the look started on Halloween, maybe 2018. So I got the look down and I felt really cute, but I knew I had to give some kind of value to this character. So I asked myself, okay, what do I know a lot about and what is something that I cannot fake? So I can't fake being Japanese because that's how I grew up. Um, so I took that concept of Sailor Moon, Cutie Honey, Hello Kitty, and I meshed everything together, and so everybody was bored.
Let's talk about your content a little bit. People avidly follow you for your Japanese language, grammar, and culture related content. Which has been your most popular video ever?
My most popular video is usually anything that's about unwritten rules about Japan. And I talk about topics that are more like social behaviors because the West and the East are two completely polar opposite in the way people behave, how people think. So just coming from a background of both worlds, it's just so interesting to me how they're so different.
How does it feel, to be born and brought up in US, especially in Hawaii, and being someone who can possibly see the culture of Japan in Hawaii, as well as see the culture of the mainland Japan and like identify those differences? How does that feel like for you?
Well, thanks to my mom raising me, she would talk to me in Japanese and she would embed Japanese culture, even though I was in Hawaii, which is US territory. Um, so just being surrounded by Japanese anime, J dramas, Japanese people, and our friends, I could feel the spirit of the Japanese people. And I also have family in Japan. So every summer I would go back and forth and visit my grandma and the family. And I would actually attend elementary school in Japan just for the summer. And so even though I just sat in the classroom, I could hear and feel what the minds of the Japanese people. So it's really cool to live in two places as a child. So I'm super grateful for that.
So, Cyberbunny, as you've told me that you're on a mission to bridge the gap between the West and the East, especially the US and Japan. What's the most positive response that you've ever received?
People laughing, and I love it when I get comments like inside jokes, and it's usually from people who have experienced Japan and now they're back to wherever they are currently living. And I always enjoy the inside jokes. I mean, you know who you are, but those make me really laugh. And I guess it's just fun to be funny on social media with everything that's going around. Sometimes we need a break. Sometimes I start wars on social media, and it's always kind of like a debate. Some people just come on here to troll, some people are here to have an intellectual conversation, but I feel like that's what art is all about. So I have an artist background. I graduated with a bachelor's of fine arts, and the one thing that I learned from art school is that we learn how to take constructive criticism and feedback, and we use it to improve ourselves. So I don't take anything personally.
Right. Social media can have such an influence on your life, like it can be positive, it can be negative, but at the end of the day, it's how you let it, get to you. So, like, if you'll not let it get to you, all good at the end of the day.
Exactly. And I tackle a lot of political issues that's happening in Japan, and I'm trying to show like how it is from the perspective of a Japanese. And I understand how the Americans would respond to it as well, but um, a lot of people miss the point. Some people understand what I'm trying to say, but at the end of the day, like, you are free to think whatever, and the internet is all about free speech. So I'm just trying to give a positive environment for people to speak their minds and
Right.
be heard.
On that note, since you were born in Hawaii as well, like talking about Japanese culture, being somebody like who was born and brought up in US, how has that helped you shape your understanding of the culture and the world?
Hawaii is literally a bridge from Japan and the continental US. Yeah, Hawaii has a big influence from Japan. A lot of tourists from Japan come to Hawaii, and a lot of Japanese love Hawaii. They get married here. So I feel like it's like mini Japan.
Interesting. And being born in Hawaii, and like still under more content that comes from the US and some bits of content from Japan as well, I'm sure. Um, how was your understanding of the Japanese culture there? Like the mainland Japanese culture that you're talking about.
It's how Japanese culture is perceived in Hawaii is totally different when you're actually in Japan. And so I hope to make like a clear understanding the difference, because there's so many great things about local Japanese culture in Hawaii. It's modified during the plantation days, and and it has its own charm, you know. But when you go to Japan, you can feel and experience the authentic Japanese culture, and that's also great as well.
So you're such a big ambassador of Japanese culture. We have to ask you this question. Like which is your favorite anime or manga?
Right now, the trending anime is Spy Family. So
Yes.
I really like that. The little girl Anya is so cute. I enjoy both manga and anime. With anime, you can feel the emotions. Um, you can understand what vocabulary is used in what setting. With manga, there's a lot more imagination involved, and it helps with your reading skills. So I enjoy both.
Interesting. If by any chance you became the owner of the internet, say, what would be the first three things that you would do?
That is a really hard question. I thought about it, but I would take down the trolls of the internet. I would find them and just wipe them out. But then again, they also help with the algorithm. So we kind of need the trolls. That would be the first thing. But I do enjoy them, actually. They have some good, insightful things.
What would be the next thing that you would do?
Next thing. Do you have any creative answers to this? Like, what would you do?
I never gave it a thought, to be honest. But maybe, make it free for everyone so that there is more inclusion. Do you think the world still stereotypes Japanese people and expects them to behave in the same way as the animes that they watch?
I want to say yes and no. If you really, really understand Japanese culture and the way people behave, there's also like tatemae and honmae. Like Japanese people are raised to behave a certain way in the public eye, but when you're at home, they're completely different people. And anime kind of portrays people in an exaggerated way. So maybe it's not an accurate portrayal, but in a sense, some aspects of anime is correct. But I would just take it with a grain of salt.
Interesting. And I think that should go out as proper advice to anybody who is, watching animes these days and trying to understand Japanese culture by just looking at the anime instead of reading about it separately and doing their own research as well. So that's quite an interesting, way to put it.
Yeah, I don't want to kill anyone's vibe and say, no, this is not true. Anime is wrong. I'm sorry if I do, but I'd rather be told what's expected than find out myself and get a bad experience in Japan. That's
uh,
another part of my life mission is so I create content so people are prepared for what they're about to experience.
Absolutely. So, Cyberbunny, I'll just digress a little bit here, and I want to ask you, about a couple of things that you would like to recommend people to go and experience in Japan. Some things that you would recommend for them.
I recommend going to an onsen. I think that is such a basic answer um, because in the US, it's a shower culture and our bathtubs are very long and shallow, whereas in Japan, it's small and deep, and you really feel relaxed. And I feel like it's super important in Japanese culture to take baths instead of just a quick shower. Another thing I want people to experience is the rice. Japanese rice is so good. It's cheaper, it's quality.
Absolutely. Are you a fan of food by any chance? Do you have some favorite dishes that you would like to recommend?
Well, ramen is number one top food in Japan, but it's kind of like more towards junk food. It's so oily and heavy. Um, I really like natto, which is fermented soybeans. It's really good for you and it improves your immunity.
What can we expect to see more on Cyberbunny's Instagram and YouTube going forward now?
I'm really excited that you asked because I'm taking a little break from social media and we're focusing more on our new music album.
Oh, wow. That's so exciting. Yeah. Finally, it's
We're a
happening.
three-person band. Yeah, I'm so excited. Everything's gonna be in Japanese. It's a J-pop, J-rock concept. It talks about um, what living in Tokyo is actually like. So I really want the weebs of the internet to check this album out. It's more of the perspective of a Japanese person working and living and struggling but surviving in Tokyo.
So, your music video, when is it supposed to come out now? How long do we have to wait for it?
Hopefully 2023 sometime then. I'm going to Japan in a couple weeks, so we're gonna do some demo stuff and hopefully finalize it next year, spring, and
Amazing.
then release it during the summer. Hopefully, music takes a long time, so we'll see. No
Yes.
promises.
Great. Thank you for having such an interesting discussion with us today. I'm sure our audience will also find it very entertaining. And on that note, I'd like to bring the session of Yodoozy Chit Chat to an end. Thank you so much, Cyberbunny, for joining us today.
No,
We'll do another
no, I'm
session.
not ready to end. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me, Shubin, and thank you, Yodoozy.